and welcome to Askimo TV. We're talking today to Michael Serwa. Michael is a London-based life coach and public speaker. He's worked with hundreds of people on a one-to-one basis and run over 150 seminars, workshops, and talks. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Michael, today's interview is going to be about personal development in the areas of defining and executing personal development plans. So let's start with, what is personal development planning?
I think what you have in mind saying planning is goals, right? Setting goals and having goals in life. And to my experience and knowledge, it's a single most important personal development exercise. If you are serious about your growth, if you're serious about becoming successful in any area, you have to have goals. There's just no way around it. And to have an idea in your head, to think about something, oh, I want this, that's not good enough. That's not a goal. That's a wish. And even kids have wishes. The goal is something that we write down and we put a deadline next to it. And ideally, an action plan as well, right? That's when it becomes serious. And I can't really explain how it works, but it's magic. The moment we put something down on the paper, we put a deadline next to it, I don't want to go too spiritual, because I don't want to lose half of the listeners. But, I do believe that there's a huge involvement of the universe, or however we're going to call it. If we set the intention, the universe, and, by universe, I mean, circumstances and other people, they just start to cooperate with us. So to get something, it's pretty logical. To get something, we need to ask for it. But the big problem most of people do, they don't ever ask about anything. They say, yeah, I want to be rich, I want to be happy. But where's your plan? Where are your goals? Everybody wants to be wealthy. Not everybody, but lots of people want to be wealthy and happy, but lots of them don't have any goals. So it's very hard to work on something if it's not specific. Goals have to be specific as well. How wealthy you want to be. If I'm going to give you $1, there you go. You are richer by $1, but you're not wealthy yet. So we want to be very specific when we set goals.
Who should be planning, and how far ahead should people be planning? How far ahead should we be planning for?
Okay, to answer your first question, the first part of the question, who should be planning? Very simple answer, everybody. And to answer the second part of the question, as far as you want. I would say as far as you want, I would say up to 10 years. Because I don't think we need more than 10 years to achieve anything. No matter how big your goal is, it's very rare that you're going to need more than 10 years. Unless you are 16 and you're going to be a PhD in whatever, science, you might need more than 10 years. But anything else, any other goals, I think the moment we think, oh, I'm going to need 20 years, no, we just lack the belief that we can achieve something. So whatever it is, I think 10 years is long enough. So when we set goals, it will usually be the combination of short-term and long-term goals, and that's fine. We just write everything that we want, we put a deadline according to what kind of goal it is, but, how far ahead? As far as we want, really.
So if we were setting the goals, what is involved? Talk us through some step-by-step tips to making our plan. Exactly what's involved, and should we be thinking of some areas more than others, like financial future? Should that be more important than other areas?
Okay, so how to set goals? Very simple. We take a piece of paper, iPad, or whatever we want to write on, something that we're not going to lose. We write down, when I work with my clients and when I run workshops on goal setting, I ask people for 10 goals. So what I say is, I want you to write down 10 things that you want. It's very straightforward. And I say that there's a difference between 10 things that you think you can get and 10 things that you want. So I'm not asking for what you think you can get. I'm asking for what you want. Okay, so just be honest with yourself, put everything down on the paper. That's the first step. You write down the list of things, whatever, all sorts of goals. Financial goals, fitness goals, career goals, dating goals, whatever, relationship goals. Once you've got that, the second step is to write down deadlines next to it. Now the thing is that, my favorite definition of goals is that these are dreams with deadlines. Yeah. So the moment we put a deadline next to the dream, it becomes a goal. So I like to dream, but what I like even more is setting goals because it's more serious. So yeah, we set deadlines. So we basically look at our goal and think, okay, what's the reasonable amount of time necessary for me to achieve it? And we just put a deadline next to it. We either put it in a way of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, or we put a date. So let's say January the 1st, 2018. So doesn't matter how we do it. And then, yeah, we could stop there, and lots of people stop there, but that's not good enough. That's just list of goals. But what we really want to do, once we have that, this foundation, is to select our goal. And very, very important part of setting goals and working on ourselves, personal development. Once we have the goal, the first thing that we want to do, the first thing that we have to do, is to answer why we want what we want. And why this is important? Because we need to have enough motivation to even attempt achieving any goal. And if we don't really understand why we want what we want, we will struggle with motivation, right? And also, occasionally, doing this exercise, writing down the reasons why. I ask my clients for 3 reasons why. Minimum 3 reasons why. 3 reasons why. What often happens is once you work on the reasons why, you might realize that they're actually not your goals. And you realize that this is the society kind of putting pressure on your parents. I remember doing this exercise with this one girl, and her goal was to get married, right? And I said, okay, what are the reasons why? And she started to write them down. And the number 1 was because my mom wants me to get married. And the reason number 2 was because my dad wants me to get married. She was like, this is not my goal. And I said, thank you, this is not your goal. Just get rid of this one, do something else, And of course, we often want to make our parents happy or our partners happy. But the thing is, if we only do it for somebody else, we will struggle. So we might as well not do it unless we want to take some time, we're going to stop there for a second and see if we can find some motivation, internal motivation, rather than only external. So once we have the reasons why, we want to come up with a long list, as long as possible, list of ways of actually achieving this goal. So all the possible actions that we can think of, we want to write them down. And I think it's coming back to the exercise with why we want to do what we want to do, is that one thing I've learned from one of my teachers is that when why gets stronger, the how becomes easier. So the stronger the reason why, the easier there will be to take the actions necessary to actually achieve it. On the other side, if the why is not strong at all, if it's weak, if it's lame, whatever, we're going to struggle. We can have a beautiful action plan, but if there's no strong motivation behind it, we're going to fail. And so that's 4th step, the action plan, the house. And that's going to be a combination of single actions that we can take, a phone call we can make, a website we can visit, a meeting we can have. And usually there will be the list of repetitive actions that we can take every day or every other day in order to get us closer to achieving our goal. And the 5th step, the last step, is to come up with some possible obstacles. So you ask yourself, what are the things that can stand on my way on achieving my goal? And usually, I'll give you some examples. Laziness would be the big one there. I know what I need to do. I know that I want to do, but I'm lazy. Well, let's talk about it. Laziness is a big one, so procrastination. And time. It's interesting, the whole concept of time, because I see the most successful people out there doing so many things, and to my knowledge, I might be wrong, they have exactly the same amount of hours in a day. Yet people that do very little, they always complain about lack of time. So it's very interesting, this relativity of time to me. So yeah, but basically that's a formula of setting goals. It's a very straightforward process. Setting goals is easy. Achieving goals is hard.
So you mentioned quite a bit about motivation, and just to finish off, how do people stay motivated long enough to see their plans through and achieve their goals?
This is very interesting, and I'm personally fascinated with the concept of motivation. How come Some people are highly motivated for a long amount of time. How come some people are not motivated at all? And when you look at them, they're the same people, similar people, same background, the same skin color, whatever, the same age. But this one is motivated and this one is not. I'm still trying to figure that out for myself. I'm still trying to look at my own life and answer to myself, how come my motivation can go, up and down as well? How could I make it? Because if my motivation was high all the time, Jesus, by now I would be, I don't know where, but it fluctuates all the time, and, I had a coffee with a friend of mine who is a personal trainer, and he's creating this program for his clients, and he wanted to pick up my brains about motivation. He was like, Michael, I want my clients to be motivated all the time. What shall I do? And I said, I'll tell you what, I don't know. That would be the biggest, if I would discover that would be like the biggest secret, because I'm not super motivated all the time. I'm motivated all the time, but I'm not super motivated all the time. And to be honest, I don't know. But the things that I do know is that they're coming back to why, something I was talking about, We will usually find ourselves being the most motivated about the things we really want to achieve. And we really understand well why we want to achieve them. Also, what I found is that when our goals involve other people, when achieving goals would affect more people than just ourselves, it's easier to stay motivated as well. Like I have this friend of mine who's doing very good in business, and his biggest drive is the fact that he wants to help his family, who's struggling a little bit, So he was waking up every day and be like, I want to buy a house for my grandmother. And I think that's a fantastic source of motivation. Not just to think about yourself, but looking at other people, and that's what makes me get up in the morning every day and be happy. That can make a difference in other people's lives. It's not about what can I get through it. I'm getting a lot through it as well for myself, but the main motivation for me is that I can affect other people. And I think for lots of people, the idea of making a difference in other people's life would be a big motivator. Not for everybody, but for most of people. I think deep inside, lots of us are givers. We like to give. Giving is very, very, very good. It's good for the soul.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.